Good morning. Today's Saturday, April 30th, and it is day 69. We are here in Glasgow, Virginia. We slept in this free shelter that the town provides and maintains specifically for thru hikers. So thank you to the town of Glasgow for that. I had a really nice sleep last night. And in just a little bit, we are going to get shuttled back to the trail. The guy who gave us a hitch yesterday also gave us his phone number and said we could call him this morning and that he would come get us and take us back. So we're gonna get moving pretty soon. Today we should be passing 800 miles, yay! And we are making our way towards Waynesboro, Virginia, which is where the southern boundary of the Shenandoahs lies. So these next few days should be pretty interesting. We've got a few stops that we're excited about, and we've just got more miles to put away, so let's do it. So we are back on trail at 10:20 in the morning. We tried getting a hitch back out of town and we're not successful this time. But thankfully, Charlie, who owns and manages Stanimals Hostel here in Glasgow, he happened to be driving to the trail to pick up some hikers who were going into town today, and he saw us standing on the side of the road struggling to get a hitch, so he picked us up and brought us back to trail. So thank you, Charlie. And he gave us some helpful tips for this next section during the ride. So yeah, we're finally getting started today. And I don't know, I think Virginia has been hitting us pretty hard. Well, with me specifically, with the way my body has been feeling, it's been a little bit of a challenge. And since I got hooked back up with Batona and Leapfrog, it's been like, we get someplace that has good food, we say we're just gonna stop to eat and then go back to the trail, but then in the back of our minds, we know good and goddamn well we are not going back to the trail. So we end up like hiking shorter days, which is fine. I mean, we're still making progress. But yeah, I'm glad to be back on trail today. My body is feeling a lot better than yesterday. Picked up some new stretches for my shins from some hikers in town, so I've been doing those, and I'm seeing some pretty immediate results where my shins pretty much feel back to normal today. So happy about that, and I'll just continue to monitor to see how I feel. So yeah, should be crossing 800 miles today, so let's make it happen. Well, the good news is my body is feeling much better today than it was yesterday. The bad news is this climb sucks. It's steep and exhausting, and it's also raining, but This is a pretty view. Man, this climb up Bluff Mountain might be the worst that I've seen so far in Virginia. It's been nothing but steep uphill this whole time. It just never ends, never eases up. And today, because it's raining, it's like slick with wet rocks and leaves. Now I have my rain jacket on, but that's making me hot. But if I take my rain jacket off, I'll just be hiking in a wet shirt, which is gonna make me cold. So, this is what through hiking is, and it's not pleasant. Today is one of those days where I like to really just put my head down and crank out the miles. I mean, it's an overcast day, so there aren't many views. It is not freezing cold, but it's also not hot. It's like in the low 50s, and it's been raining, so it's that kind of weather where as long as you're moving, you feel pretty good, but as soon as you stop, then you start to get a little cold. So I made sure that all my snacks were pretty easily accessible today so that I could just keep going. I didn't necessarily say how far we were planning to go today because we didn't really make a plan. The first shelter is Punch Bowl Gap shelter or Punch Bowl shelter, something like that. And that would only put us at like 10 miles on the day. I definitely want to do more than that. The next shelter after Punch Bowl, I think it's called Brown Creek shelter or something like that. That would make it a 20-mile day. But because we got started later today, I don't know if we'll really make it there. So I was just looking at the map and I saw a campsite or a stealth campsite down near this parking lot. So I think that would make probably a 15-mile day, which I think is probably the most reasonable at this point. Batona and Leapfrog are behind me, so I'm probably gonna find some place to stop just up ahead and wait for them to catch up so we can sort of see what we want to do. If I can make it to that second shelter, I would like to, but I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Honestly, I'm just glad that my body's feeling 10 times better today than it was yesterday. So let's just play it by ear. So I've decided I'm going for the 20-mile day today, and I will get to Brown Mountain Creek Shelter. It's 4 o'clock now, so it might be pretty late by the time I get there, but thankfully it's mostly downhill, so hopefully I can keep a good pace. All right, let's go. Yo, check this out. 799.9. 800. Period. So it's 4:30 in the morning, and I just realized that I forgot to close out the day yesterday. We ended up doing about 20 miles. We made it to Brown Creek Mountain Campground. So we set up our tents, made dinner, and we were pretty much rolling into camp right before it got dark. So we didn't have a whole lot of time, which is probably why I forgot to do this video. So today, whenever we get up, we are going to push a 22 to 23 mile day to get to the Priest Shelter, which we're all pretty excited about. The Priest is a pretty iconic shelter where thru hikers make their confessions, write down their trail sins. I don't really know what mine are, but I guess I'll figure something out before I get up there. So we've got a pretty big climb in the morning to start off, and then the rest of the day should be fairly easy just up on the ridge. So we'll see how all that goes. But I'm gonna go back to sleep for at least a couple more hours. And yeah, I will see you all this morning. All right, later. Good night / good morning. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? It's a lovely morning, isn't it? Just chilling on a log. I feel you. So we are off again on day 70. Today is Sunday, May 1st. Super crazy that it's May and I started this shit in February. Still out here, still going strong. 800 plus miles in, not slowing up anytime soon. Yes, we are the last ones to leave the shelter site yet again. And we aren't even leaving that late today. It's like just after 9 o'clock. But yeah, I know people just be getting up at the crack of dawn and hitting it. But today we've got like a 22.4 mile day up to the Priest Shelter, which we're all at least a little excited about. The Priest is one of those iconic shelters on the AT where thru hikers will write down their confessions into the logbook. So anything that they may have done while on trail that isn't necessarily recommended, like pooping someplace they shouldn't have, stuff like that. So we'll leave our confessions once we get up there. And getting up there is going to be a challenge probably. The next 4.5 miles is nothing but a climb up onto the ridge. So we're starting that now. Let's knock it out. So the last time I switched out my shoes, I said that I wanted to put at least 500 miles on the next pair. In the next couple days, I'll be at 500, and these are just starting to come apart. Not too bad. I'm planning to wear these all the way to Harper's Ferry, so that'll be more like 7, almost 800 miles. And then I'll probably swap them out again. Honestly, these Virginia climbs can suck it. I don't care how pretty it is. Whew. So it's just 11:15 and just made it up to the top of the big steep climb of the day. In Virginia, you're gonna have to fight me for that one because I ain't like that at all. Whew, that took everything out of me, baby. Exhausting. So we've still got about 17 and a half miles to get to the priest's shelter. And yeah, the rest of the day is pretty much sitting right on top of this ridge. I think there are a bunch of little like small ups and downs though, which I don't know how fun that's gonna be. Hopefully it's fairly easy. So yeah, let's make it happen, Cap'n. So it seems like our plan to get to the priest shelter today might be changing. I think today is a harder day than any of us expected, even with like the big climb for the day being over. We're still up on this ridge, just going up and over these small humps, just back to back to back to back to back. And it's tiring. And also, we're all having body issues. Patona's having some pain in his knee, which he's sort of been dealing with for the last 250 miles. Leapfrog has been having issues with her feet and like the shoes she has. And I'm still having some minor issues with my shins. I thought they didn't bother me at all yesterday, but then today, that discomfort started coming back. So I gotta take it a little easier. I'm like, man, why can't our bodies just cooperate? So this is where we'll be setting up for the night. This is the Spry Rock campground, just 4 miles short of the priest shelter. But I think this is a good decision to stop and a pretty solid place to camp. So apparently this rock offers the best 360 views in this part of Virginia. Doesn't look like we get much today. Damn. What up? Today is Monday, May 2nd, and it is day 71. Not gonna lie, not feeling too hot this morning. I didn't sleep well at all last night. I felt like I kept hearing something like moving around my tent, and I felt something pretty much running into my tent last night, which I believe was probably a mouse. So I was a little paranoid. Didn't want to go to sleep because I didn't want to wake up to a mouse chewing through my tent and being inside with me. So didn't sleep great. And this morning, I'm just not feeling super hot. My shins have not been feeling right. And I think I might be getting shin splints or something, which is so irritating. Like I'm not in pain. There's just something that doesn't feel right. I don't know. I've had these shoes for about 500 miles now. Maybe it's time to switch them out. I've had my insoles in for about 400 miles now. Maybe it's time to switch those. I've been doing stretches that people have given me, which I guess have helped a little bit, but last night when I went to go to bed, I just felt this like tightness in both my shins. And I had to put some icy hot on them, and that provided some relief. But then when I woke up this morning, they were just so stiff and tight, and I stretched them out this morning like I've been doing, and that helped a little bit. But I'm at a point where I'm a little like scared to hike because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if it's at some point today I'm just gonna be in pain to the point where I can barely walk. And we've got a little ways to go today to get to some place where I can like get off trail and rest. So I took off this morning ahead of Leapfrog and Batona. They wanted to go check out the view on top of Spy Rock, which is probably very beautiful this morning because it's very nice out today. But with the way I've been feeling, I just kind of wanted to go ahead and get started because I just want to give myself the best shot at making it to where we plan to go today in decent time. And I went up on top of Spy Rock yesterday evening, even though the views weren't the greatest. It was enough for me, and I get the picture. I've been seeing views all through Virginia, so yeah. Plan for today is to do like 19 miles to get to this gap where we can get off trail and go to Devil's Backbone Brewing Company, which provides free camping for hikers, showers, food, and obviously all the beer you can drink. And then hopefully we make it there today. And then tomorrow it would be another 19 miles to get to Waynesboro, which is basically the last town before entering the Shenandoah National Park. And I think at this point I'm about 200 or maybe a little less than 200 miles away from Harper's Ferry, and I would really love to just get there and then maybe take a few more days off and get my situation figured out. But maybe when I get to Waynesboro, hopefully tomorrow, I know they have an outfitter there, so maybe I'll go see if they have any suggestions about swapping out my shoes or insoles or whatever. And I just hope I can make it through these next few days in one piece, but I don't know, I'm starting to feel, discouraged again, because my body has literally been fighting me this entire hike. Specifically, my legs, starting off with knee pain for the first almost 200 miles, and then toe pain, and then calves, and now my shins. And it's like, come on. Not that I'm comparing myself to other people, but there are so many other people out here and they're pushing harder than I am, and they aren't stretching the way that I am, and they seem to be just fine. So I'm like, what is wrong with my body, my legs, to where it can't seem to handle this? But we got to figure something out, because I've already said it a million times. I will be finishing this hike, and I will be finishing it this year. So yeah, that's all for now. I'll talk to y'all in a bit. All right, this is it. It's time for me to head up to meet the priest so that I can confess my sins. I must say, it is a beautiful day. The weather feels great. I came all this way to meet the priest so that I can confess to my trail sins. Let us confess. So this is the trail log at the priest shelter here in Virginia. Normally, hikers will just sign the logs to say that they were here, but with this specific log, hikers write down their sins on trail. Whether they've stolen toilet paper from a hostel or a hotel, pooped in the woods without digging a cat hole, had sex in any of the shelters, people write it in this book. Honestly, I don't really have any sins. I don't know what I've done. That's so bad. I'm a goody two-shoes on trail. I haven't done anything. All right, let me sit here and think of something. Okay, you know what? Y'all remember when I ranted about someone pooping and not digging a hole and just leaving the shit and the toilet paper just on top of the ground next to a tree? Y'all remember when I ranted about that a few videos back in Tennessee? I think I know who that person was, because guess what? They confessed to it in this book. and I'm not gonna air them out, but I know for sure that it was them. Okay, so I just left the priest shelter, and I did make my little confession, but honestly, I didn't really have anything to confess. Like, I don't play the games that a lot of these hoes play out here. Like, y'all know, I'm a big leave no trace proponent, and I hang my food every night because I'm not playing with bears or mice or any other wildlife. And a lot of that stuff is just people not doing stuff like that. Which, I know it's all fun and games and it's a judgment-free zone, but pretty much I done already clocked a lot of y'all anyway. So y'all don't even need to confess anything. But what gets me is the people who write down that they've been having sex in shelters. Like, some of that, I'll be like, are you really? Because, like, I see what a lot of y'all look like, and I don't even want to know what a lot of y'all smell like. And all I'm gonna say is, it could never be me, baby. Ain't nobody out here that appealing to me. Trust. But hey, if that's what y'all do, keep it away from me. So I tell you what, you think you finna have sex in a shelter that I'm sleeping in? Baby, ain't nobody going to sleep. Ain't nobody doing nothing. I'm gonna shut that shelter down. But yeah, that's a fun little AT thing that everybody raves about. Like I said, I didn't really confess to anything. All I did was pretty much talk shit. I was like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch. And every time I look around at these other hikers, I'm reminded of how bad of a bitch I am. That's pretty much what I said in so many words. But where's the lie? You tell me. Anyways, 15 more miles to go. So we've got this 4-mile stretch that's all downhill. And then I have a 6-mile stretch that's back uphill. And for those of you who don't know, Virginia is the state of PUDs. PUDs, which stand for pointless ups and downs. And I can attest that is accurate. Because we be doing all this for no reason. Let's continue on. Now I want y'all to know that I tried my hardest not to take that priest shelter logbook and run with it. But honestly, I wasn't excited about stopping at that shelter, and I probably shouldn't have, because I knew that I was gonna see a lot of stuff in that book that just didn't sit right with me, and now I'm feeling some kind of way. And it just, y'all know that I've been sort of saying in different ways that I don't feel like I really fit in or belong with the large majority of this thru hiking community. And that book just pretty much reiterated that for me. Because, like, I know that a lot of you may look at people who thru hike as these strong, resilient, individuals, and that is true. I'm not going to take that away from anybody who hikes however many thousand miles and puts up with all the pain and discomfort and this, that, and the next. But at the same time, there are also just a lot of people who I think just take advantage. And, you know, I say it all the time, the amount of privilege and entitlement that's out here. And I'll even put some of that on myself. Like, I'm privileged to be in the position that I'm in, to have quit my job and to be hiking this trail for 6 months and still paying the few bills that I have back at home, and to have the equipment that I need to survive comfortably out here and be able to vlog and document the experience. Like, I'm privileged. But, you know, for a lot of people, like, a thru hike may be a challenge to them, and it could just be fun and games, like an escape from reality, an escape from the real world. And to see a lot of the things that people have done, or should I say a lot of the things that people haven't done that I'm a big proponent of, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. You know, I feel like as thru hikers, we should be probably the biggest stewards of the land. Because, I mean, we're on it. We're basically living off of it. We're homeless for 6 months. And a lot of people have volunteered their time and energy to maintain this trail so that we could be out here. And people just don't seem to care about anything outside of themselves. And that will never be me. And I will never encourage anyone who is following me or is a part of my community or my tribe or wants to thru hike. I would never encourage people to never dig a hole when they have to poop, or to never hang their bear bags. Like, that's so inconsiderate. It's disrespectful to the land. It's disrespectful to the wildlife. It's disrespectful to other people who come out to enjoy the trails. And again, when I look at the demographics of who is actually taking advantage of these natural spaces, a very small percentage of that still are people who look like me. So it doesn't sit right with me to see so many people who have the access and the resources to come out and do this just like take advantage of it, and to just leave a mess in their wake. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've been perfect, and like, I understand one-off incidences, like maybe you just had the bubble guts out of nowhere, you didn't really have time to find a place to dig a cat hole, you just had to drop trowel and just go wherever you are. That I can understand. Or maybe you've hiked a 30-mile day and you're just so exhausted that you can't fathom hanging a bear bag for one night. That I understand. But there are so many people out here who never do these things. They never make one attempt to do these things. And I just don't think that's right. And, you know, I'm not saying that to judge anyone. And I might be taking the whole priest confessions thing a little too seriously, but I have to take it seriously because I represent so much more than just me. And I'm proud to do that. And I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest because that's now what I'm feeling as I hike down this mountain. Hello, Virginia. Thanks for showing up and looking so beautiful today. Really appreciate it. Time to start this 6-mile climb up this other mountain. Thankfully, about 1/3 of the way up, there's a shelter with a privy because I really need to go. And the privy at the priest was closed because it was full of people's feces. TMI. So yeah, let's get this going and try to knock this out as fast as we can. I guess this climb isn't the worst, aside from it being 6 endless miles of just uphill. Goodness gracious. Thankfully, it's just steep enough to where it's a challenge, but not too steep to where it's impossible. I've only got a mile left. I think the worst part is how hot it is and the sun just beaming down because there's not a single cloud in the sky. But we're almost up there, and then the hard part of the day will be over. Thank God that climb is over. Never again. That was so hard. 6 miles, 3,000 feet. And we pretty much ended up right up there where there's absolutely no view. So now I'm on the downside. And I cannot wait to get me a burger and a beer in just a few hours. All right, so I just arrived here at Maupin Field Shelter. It's about 1.5 miles away from Reed Gap, where you would get a hitch to head to Devil's Backbone. I told Batona and Leapfrog that I would stop here and wait for them, and hopefully when they get here, they will want to keep going to the Gap and go ahead and get a hitch so that we can stay at the brewery tonight, get a good burger and a good beer. So we'll see how long it takes them to get here. It might be a minute. Good morning, all. Today is Tuesday, May 3rd, and it's day 72. For the very first time since starting my hike, I am on trail before 7 a.m. Usually, I would just be rolling out of my quilt around this time, and it's right around 6:50 now. But I reworked my plans last night and decided to get out early today. So I have decided that I don't really feel like going to Devil's Backbone anymore. It would pretty much be a waste of my day today to do the 1.7 miles just to go to a brewery and wait and see if Leapfrog and Batona show up today. Now, since they didn't send me any messages last night letting me know that they weren't going to make it, I'm just going to go on ahead and worry about myself, which I should have did yesterday. And something told me I should have just went ahead and got my hitch to Devil's Backbone anyway. So I knew a bunch of other people who were there. But I told the other two that I was going to wait for them at this shelter, and that's what I did. It's a mistake I only make one time. So, back to just me doing my own thing. And last night before I went to sleep, I started putting my little plan together to get me through the Shenandoahs, which I'll be entering tomorrow, unless I decide to take a 0 in Waynesboro. But I don't think I will. So yeah, I'll be in the Shenandoahs tomorrow, and I should be reaching Harper's Ferry in about 10 days. So I'm so ready for that. And pretty much as soon as I get to Harper's Ferry, that'll be leading into Trail Days weekend back down in Damascus. So I think I'm gonna get a ride down to Trail Days, and then I have to figure out how I'm gonna get back to Harper's Ferry. So I just barely packed enough food to get me through to Waynesboro. So I've got a 20-mile day today to get to that town, and I didn't even bother eating breakfast this morning. I have a couple Pop-Tarts, so I'm just gonna eat them on the go. And my breakfast essential here. And thankfully, the terrain is looking so much easier than yesterday, so I should be able to get these miles done with no problem. So let's get started. Good morning, Virginia. I'm actually kind of glad that I skipped over Devil's Backbone. You know, I'm not really much of a beer drinker, and breweries don't really appeal to me the same way that they appeal to a lot of other people. You know, when I hear a brewery, I mostly just hope they have food. And some breweries also sell wine, so I'll be the weirdo who orders a glass of wine at a brewery, but y'all know I don't care. But yeah, it might have been a little tough because you have to hitch in and out of Devil's Backbone because it's like 5 miles off trail. And I know a bunch of people who went there yesterday who are probably going to be fighting for a hitch out of there this morning, if they're even able to stand up after however much alcohol they consumed yesterday. So yeah, things didn't work out the way that I had hoped yesterday, but I'm making the best of it today. I'm out early, feeling good, and hopefully I can make pretty good time getting to Waynesboro, where I will try to stay at Stanimals Hostel, because my clothes do need a little washing right now. And I could just use a shower and an indoor bed. Look at that. I think I might actually hit 12 miles before 12 today. It is around 9:45 right now, and I've already done pretty much 8 miles. And there's like a mile and a half to the top of today's climb, and then it's pretty much all downhill from there into Waynesboro. So I can definitely do another 4 miles in 2 hours. Shouldn't be too difficult at all. And I'm excited to get to town to get some food, because all I have are little snacks to hold me over for the day. I ran out of actual dinners and breakfast foods and stuff. So we have no choice but to get there today. But yeah, I'm starting to see the appeal of these early morning starts. Not like 4 or 5 a.m. early, but you know, a cool 6:30, 7 a.m. start. I can get with that, as opposed to like an 8:30 to 9:30 start. Gives me much more room to work with throughout the day. So I think this might be the new wave for me. Wow, look at that. Are those homes and apartments over there? Y'all want to know where the money reside? I bet you that's it. So I took that 12 by 12 and said, why not make it 13 and a half? So I did. And now I'm here at the Paul Wolf shelter. I just had some lunch using the privy, and there's a nice stream that's just down here. So I'm probably going to go dip my feet in for a few minutes and then finish up these last 4.8 miles to the parking lot where I'm gonna get picked up. Okay, so that was hands down the best lunch break I've ever had. So I ate 2 tuna wraps, and those were actually my last 2 tuna packets. Got to use the privy, and I got to soak my feet and my ankles and even some of my shins for a good 15 minutes in that icy water, and it felt so good. And you know what? I think I'm starting to see the appeal of waking up a little earlier and starting your day a little earlier, because I have less than 5 miles left to do today and it's only 1:30. So I really feel like I can take my time. I was actually able to sit down and enjoy my lunch and relax for a few minutes. And that was nice. And as it continues to get warmer and the seasons change, I know I'm not gonna I know I'm not gonna wanna be out in the dead of heat all day, every day. So might be worth leaving my alarm set at 5 a.m. instead of 6:30. I'm digging it. Man, I came so close to stepping on you. I almost thought you were a shoestring. But you're lucky I looked down. And he didn't even budge. All right, so we just made it to Rockfish Gap. That's 20.5 miles done today. And in a few minutes, I'll be picked up and taken into Waynesboro. So I'll be staying at Stanimals Hostel tonight. Can't wait to get some food, get a shower, do my laundry, get a resupply. And I'll probably try to hit up the outfitters in town to see about maybe getting a new pair of shoes. But I'm happy to be done for the day. Today was a really good day and I felt really good. And it's hot, so I need some air conditioning and a nice cold beverage. I almost forgot to mention that tomorrow we enter the Shenandoahs. Yay! Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm getting so close to home. This is gonna be great. See you tomorrow, Shenandoahs. All right, so I'm here in Waynesboro, staying at Stanimals 328 Hostel, which is that little red building right behind me. I got in, took a quick shower, did my laundry real quick, and I even managed to upload a video in 20 minutes. I swear, the Stanimals Hostel in Waynesboro has the best Wi-Fi on the AT, period. Like, I've never been able to upload a video that fast, and this was my general hour-long videos. So I'm about to go get my resupply done real quick at the Dollar General. There's also a Walmart right down the street. And then I'm probably just gonna run to Cookout because I haven't been to a Cookout in years, and thankfully they have one here. So I'm just gonna grab some food real quick, bring it back to the hostel, eat, and I'm gonna try to edit and upload 2 more videos before I go to sleep tonight, and I'll schedule them out so that I don't have to worry about it while I'm in the Shenandoahs or making my way up to Harper's Ferry. So I'm pretty excited that I'm able to get all this done today. I was concerned that I might not have enough time, but we're making it work. So let's get this resupply done. It's 11:30 p.m. and I'm tired. I managed to get my laundry done, resupply, and I got 2 videos uploaded. So I'm gonna call it a night. Tomorrow we're going into the Shenandoahs, yeah. All right, I'm out. Good night.